Have you ever wondered how a young man from Macedonia became one of the greatest conquerors in history? From the get-go, it's clear that Alexander the Great was no ordinary youth. Born into royalty as a prince, he had the privilege of an education many could only dream of. His tutor? None other than the renowned philosopher, Aristotle. When we talk about the making of a conqueror, it's impossible to overlook the profound influence Aristotle had on young Alexander. Aristotle, a man of vast knowledge and wisdom, introduced him to a world of ideas and philosophical concepts. He ignited Alexander's curiosity, fueling a thirst for knowledge that would never be quenched. In the classroom, Aristotle instilled in Alexander an appreciation for Greek culture. This included the arts, philosophy, politics, and science, but it wasn't just about appreciating culture. Aristotle also taught Alexander how to think critically, how to question, how to reason. These were skills that would serve him well in his future role as a leader. As Alexander grew older, he began to understand the value of these lessons. His intellect was sharpened, his curiosity piqued, and his appreciation for Greek culture deepened. These qualities would later be instrumental in his conquests. They gave him the ability to strategize, to understand his enemies, and to appreciate different cultures. But Aristotle's teachings did more than just shape Alexander's mind, they also helped shape his character. They instilled in him a sense of justice, a love for knowledge, and a respect for different cultures. These values would later guide his actions as he embarked on his conquests, spreading Greek culture and ideas throughout the territories he conquered. So, as we delve into the life of Alexander the Great, we see that he was not just a product of his environment, he was a product of his education, of the lessons he learned from Aristotle. Aristotle's teachings did not just cultivate Alexander's intellect, but also laid the foundation for his future conquests. So, who was Alexander the Great? He was a scholar, a philosopher, a lover of culture, and most importantly, a conqueror. But before he was any of these, he was a student, learning from one of the greatest minds of his time. And that, folks, was the making of a conqueror. What does it take to bring down an empire? For Alexander, it took strategic brilliance and an indomitable spirit. Now let's dive into a story of audacity and strategy, the story of Alexander's conquest of the mighty Persian Empire. In 334 BCE, Alexander embarked on a daring endeavor to conquer Persia, an empire that, at the time, was the greatest in the world. He crossed the Hellespont, a strait now known as the Dardanelles, marking the beginning of his Persian campaign. Alexander's military prowess was evident in the battles he fought. Take, for instance, the Battle of Issus. Despite being outnumbered, Alexander's army emerged victorious. The Persians, led by King Darius III, were outmaneuvered by Alexander's tactical genius, turning the tide in the young conqueror's favor. Yet the crowning jewel of Alexander's Persian campaign was the Battle of Gaugamela. Darius assembled an army so large that it seemed insurmountable. However, Alexander, with his keen strategic mind, used the terrain and the moonlight to his advantage. He launched a surprise attack that led to the decisive defeat of the Persian forces and the retreat of Darius. It wasn't just the battles that made Alexander's conquest remarkable, but also the strategies he employed. He adopted a policy of incorporating Persians into his administration, a move that helped to pacify the conquered regions and ensure their smooth governance. This fusion of cultures also laid the groundwork for the Hellenistic period that followed. Alexander's conquest of Persia was not just about territorial expansion, it was a clash of cultures, a test of military strategy, and a tale of a leader who dared to dream bigger than anyone before him. His audacious spirit, coupled with his sharp intellect, propelled him to achieve what seemed impossible. In defeating Persia, Alexander didn't just conquer a territory, he toppled an empire. He demonstrated that with strategic brilliance and an unyielding spirit, even the mightiest of empires can be conquered. In the process, Alexander the Great etched his name in the annals of history, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire to this day. Ever heard of the phrase, cutting the Gordian Knot? Let's delve into its origin. In the heart of ancient Phrygia, now modern-day Turkey, stood the city of Gordium. Here, Alexander the Great encountered a peculiar challenge, an ancient wagon tied with a knot so intricate that no one could untie it. According to legend, an oracle had prophesied that the one who could unravel this knot would rule over all of Asia. Alexander, never one to back down from a challenge, approached the knot. After inspecting it and finding no end to the knot, he reached for his sword. With a swift, decisive stroke, he sliced the knot in half, effectively untying it. This event became a symbol of Alexander's clever and decisive leadership. It also gave birth to the metaphor of cutting the Gordian knot, used even today to describe a creative or decisive solution to a seemingly insurmountable problem. But Alexander's legacy was not merely in his problem-solving skills. He was also an architect of cities and cultures. During his conquests, Alexander founded numerous cities, many of which he modestly named after himself. These cities, dubbed Alexandria, were not just outposts of his empire but melting pots of cultural exchange. Imagine a city where Greek philosophers rub shoulders with Persian scholars, where local traditions intertwine with Hellenic customs. That was Alexandria. These cities became hubs of cultural exchange, blending Greek, Persian, and local traditions. Alexandria in Egypt, for instance, grew into a beacon of learning and culture in the ancient world. It was home to the Great Library and the Pharaohs, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. By cutting the Gordian knot, Alexander demonstrated his unique problem-solving skills, and through city building, he engineered a cultural fusion that resonates even today. This tale of a knot and cities serves as a testament to Alexander's innovative leadership and his enduring influence on the course of history. How far would you go to quench your curiosity? For Alexander, the answer was, to the edge of the known world. Having conquered a vast expanse of territories from Greece to Egypt and Persia, Alexander turned his gaze further eastward. His thirst for knowledge, for understanding the world and its mysteries, was as vast as the empire he had built. So he embarked on a journey that would take him and his army into the heart of the Indian subcontinent. The challenges were formidable. The terrain was unlike anything they had encountered before. Mighty rivers, dense jungles, towering mountains. Every step of the journey tested the mettle of Alexander and his men. But they persevered, driven by their leader's relentless ambition and insatiable curiosity. In this foreign land, Alexander encountered powerful Indian kings. These were rulers who had never bowed to a foreign conqueror, leaders of armies as formidable as Alexander's own. The battles were fierce and hard-fought, but Alexander, ever the tactician, managed to secure victories. With each victory, his reputation grew, not just as a conqueror, but as a leader who could adapt, who could learn from new cultures and incorporate their wisdom into his strategies. Yet this journey was not merely about conquest. It was about understanding the world, its peoples, its cultures. Alexander sought to learn from the Indian scholars, to understand their philosophies, their sciences. His curiosity was not just for the sake of knowledge, it was a tool, a weapon even, that he wielded to better understand his enemies, to govern his territories more effectively, and to enrich his own mind and spirit. Through his journey to the edge of the known world, Alexander demonstrated a deep respect for the power of knowledge, the importance of cultural understanding, and the boundless potential of human curiosity. His ambition was not confined to territorial expansion. He sought to expand the horizons of understanding, to push the boundaries of what was known, to venture into the realm of the unknown. Alexander's journey to the edge of the world wasn't just about territorial expansion, but a testament to his insatiable curiosity and ambition. Every great story has an end, but in Alexander's case, his end was just the beginning of a new era. At the youthful age of 32, the world was shocked by Alexander's sudden and mysterious demise. The circumstances surrounding his death have sparked much debate among historians. Some suggest he was poisoned, a plot perhaps hatched by his own generals, while others argue he succumbed to a sudden illness. The truth, it seems, is as elusive as the man himself. But let's not dwell on his death, instead let's focus on what followed. Alexander's passing marked the dawn of a new age, the Hellenistic period. A time when Greek culture, like a ripple in a pond, spread across the vast territories he had conquered. It was an era of cultural fusion, where Greek thought and traditions intermingled with local customs, creating a unique blend of cultures that resonates even today. His city-building initiatives, particularly the founding of Alexandria, played a crucial role in this cultural exchange. Alexandria, a city named after him, stood as a beacon of knowledge and culture in the ancient world. It was a melting pot where Greek, Persian, and local traditions blended, fostering a milieu of intellectual and artistic growth. Alexander's military conquests were not merely territorial expansions. They were a means to disseminate Greek culture, to infuse Hellenistic thought into the fabric of societies far and wide. From the Nile to the Indus, his influence was felt, his ideas embraced, his culture adopted. And while his life was cut short, his legacy was anything but. The young man from Macedonia, tutored by Aristotle, who dared to dream big, to conquer the world, succeeded in ways he probably never imagined. His influence extended beyond his lifetime, shaping civilizations and touching lives for centuries to come. Even in death, Alexander the Great continued to shape the course of history. His legacy of cultural diffusion endures, reminding us of a young man from Macedonia who dared to conquer the world.